Shit.
Y'all crazy, man.
He be trying to organize this shit.
Y'all got me laughing.
No, but son, he tried to organize the interview.
Yo, hold up, man.
We don't do that.
Hold
We
up,
just
hold up.
Go right into the shoot.
Yo.
Like, what's wrong with this big guy?
Check this out. I got invited to a coach's clinic yesterday by the CEO, founder of a program called Team First. And it was excellent.
Now
Let me
he
tell you that much.
being nice to me. Thank you.
The
You're so
coach,
kind.
the guy presenting, was a good friend of the CEO's, and I also know him as well. His name was Jerome Allen. And he broke down the Knicks tobacco.
He broke down
And
why the
this
Knicks
year
so bad.
And I would just, I don't know what to say, man.
No, I know.
What's up?
I know you.
To my guy.
I know you had a good
CEO,
time.
Team First, founder, great program, doing great work.
Dragging it.
What's up, my man?
He dragging it. Like, do that for me for a fundraiser. Like, we on a show. I know who I am, right? And you had a good time yesterday.
I had a great time.
I'm happy you came through, though,
I
brother.
had a great time. I was locked in.
Yeah, I'm happy. But you know, as they say, this is the storm, and this is our so-called brotherhood.
Yes.
You be dragging it a little bit with the brotherhood shit because you talk to me too much.
Preach it.
But you my big bro. And you know, today we got a very, very interesting guest that people actually want to hear from. Right? Yeah. So here's the take, right? So our guest today, I know him. We kind of grew up together. Actually, he's probably the second point guard that I played with at Riverside Church when I first started playing basketball. So I think I got one of the strange but long relationships with this weirdo, right? He ended up being my roommate too now. But you know, today on the Storm, we have Mr. Erick Barkley. But you do all the accolades because that's what you do.
The great
I don't do
Erick
accolades.
Barkley, one of the best point guards to come out of New York City.
That's a
St.
fact.
John's legend. First round draft pick to the Portland Trailblazers. What's up, my man E. Bark?
I appreciate it. My Johnny brothers, I appreciate it. Mighty Joe, Shawnelle, I appreciate it.
Mighty Joe? I know we're not gonna go there.
That's just a nickname we gave him at college.
It's fine. I have mine.
It's all right. It's all
What's
right.
up, my man?
Ain't nothing, man. I'm happy to be here, man.
It's good, you know.
It's a
good
pleasure to be
around-
here.
It's good to be around legends, man.
I appreciate it.
How you feel, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. I'm
Doubt.
good.
No, we happy you here for a variety of reasons. We
I'm
got a lot
happy.
to talk about, right?
Let's talk, bro.
Because I know we live together. Like, we could get right into it. We could get right into
Hey,
it.
whatever
like,
you want to do, man.
especially being
I know
living
how this
together-
guy is.
especially being teammates at St. John's as well as Riverside Church. A lot of people don't understand. You was there from my beginnings.
Right. Brownsville native.
Not from Brownsville. I'm from 94th and Clarksville. I'm from East Flatbush. I'm from East Flatbush.
Brownsville.
Take it easy. But you're from Farragut, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
We know quite a few superstar basketball players that's from Farragut. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Farragut and getting into basketball. How you got into basketball?
Basketball, man. Guy named Joe Francis, was in the neighborhood at the local boys club, Navy All Boys and Girls Club. A lot of guys came out of the boys club before me, Sunshine Smith.
Sunshine from Farragut?
Yes, he is. Yes. UNLV, Sunshine, yep.
Wow. You knew that now?
I didn't know that.
You know everything. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
A couple other guys I throw
Matter
out
of fact,
there.
he did tell me about that. That's right. He told me about
A
that.
couple other guys, you know what I mean? That's from the neighborhood, not from Farragut, but from Fort Greene, which is the the project right next to it.
Right. Y'all like cousins.
Brothers.
Brothers. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Omar Cook, Booger Smith,
Dogs.
Bernard King, if you want to go back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
King,
You
bro.
know what I mean? So we got some history down there.
That's a good group of people right there now.
Taj Gibson, I forgot. You know what I mean?
Big
Can't
Taj.
leave him out.
Yeah, you can't let
But
the
he's the
lady-
new era now.
Right. So growing up there in Farragut, again, how did you get introduced to basketball?
Just watching, the older guys. You know what I mean? Getting beat up and watching the older guys play. I mean, I just took an interest from them.
You played any other sport?
Football and baseball. I was really good in baseball, shortstop. Baseball was kind of my go-to thing when I was a kid, but basketball kind of overseed it.
Tell us about the neighborhood. How was the dynamics of the neighborhood? I mean, I came from a different part of Brooklyn, but you know my dynamics. Like, You share with the audience a little bit about the dynamics of that crazy ass neighborhood you from.
Brooklyn is Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot of history from both parts. Fort Greene, Farragut, you know what I mean? A lot of crime. You know, a lot of good things, but you know, most things I could touch on is a lot of good people came out of that. You know, came out of that area.
Fort Greene has a rich history of a lot of different things, cultural, basketball. But as far as basketball, like, was there somebody from your neighborhood from Fort Greene that you looked up to, that you wanted to be like, or you wanted to emulate? Was it that person
You said from Fort Greene?
from Fort Greene?
No.
From Farragut.
From Farragut.
This guy's out of line already.
It's all good. No.
That's
but
like him saying I'm from Brownsville. I'm disrespect.
How close is Fort Greene?
Across the street.
yeah,
And Farragut.
cross the street,
What's
up the
that?
block, cross the
Thank
street. But to answer your
In
question,
the area,
no,
nobody.
no.
So where
Not
did
to sound
where
harsh,
did the
no.
inspiration come from?
Watching TV. You know, guys like Mark Jackson, at St. John's, you know, which we all hear. That's one of the reasons I went there. As a kid, watching him on the local stations. You know, Bernard King. You know what I mean? He came out of the area. You know, but not too many people from the area.
But just watching TV and
Yeah, just watching TV, you know, because New York, you get a lot of local, you know what I mean? You get a lot of local teams that was on the channel. So I fell in love with St. John's back then.
And we knew your area, Fort Greene area. We knew
Farragut.
Let's just say Farragut.
So
Farragut. We can keep it
So
simple.
disrespectful.
Fort Greene overseas Farragut.
We know about the area, but what was the life like as far as like outside of basketball, growing up in that era, especially when you were young? What was the life like?
Ooh, ah, man.
Rough.
Rough. Yeah. Ooh, rough, tough, however you want to put it. Killings, drug selling, anything you see in the movies, man. I actually kind of lived it.
Danger, a lot of danger,
Of course.
going different places.
You know, of course, it's Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Did you have free reign to go to here and there when you were younger? Like, were you able to, travel or go to
yeah.
the other side of the projects? Or
Oh, yeah. You know, Farragut ain't but so big. There's only 10 buildings, you know, so, pretty much you could walk around, you know what I mean, walk around freely.
Gotcha.
Did that environment springboard you into trying to become one of the better basketball players in the neighborhood?
Oh, absolutely. You know, because you're going to get tested in your neighborhood.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So to become one of the best in your neighborhood, that's where it starts at first. You know what I mean? You gotta dominate. You know what I mean? You gotta dominate the neighborhood first.
That's
you
a
know what I mean?
that's a
And
fact.
then you move on from there.
But see, this is what I had to ask you, right? In regards to dominating your neighborhood,
Right.
you were fortunate enough to be one of the dominant point guards in high school, right? So I know you for all these years. I don't even know how you got from Farragut to being on Riverside Church. So briefly, could you just explain that journey from elementary, middle school to becoming one of the best point guards in the nation?
Oh man, easy. Artie Cox, Kenny P, Kenny Pretlow.
Kenny P.
Kenny P.
Kenny P had, he had his thing going
BQ
on.
Express, right?
Before BQ Express, he had his own little thing going on in Williamsburg.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Before he kind of met up with us. Artie had his thing going in CYO called St. Joe's.
Right.
We played against Artie in CYO. Artie came up with a genius idea to merge the two CYO teams. My St. Ann Cobra team and his St. Joe's. So we merged those two teams and we came up with Aim High first. No, sorry, Franchise Tigers. Sorry. Franchise Tigers. Franchise Tigers, we started getting into tournaments like Citywide. What name of some of them other tournaments?
UDC.
UDC. And we start kicking ass, the Riverside asses, the Gachos asses.
How old were you around this time?
11. 10, 11. And when we came to Riverside, we beat them so bad, Mr. Lorch took a liking to us. You know what I mean?
Bought the talent. He bought the talent.
And that's when he discovered Riverside, Brooklyn, Queens Express.
Ah, so that's how that started.
Yes.
So now we talking 14, 15.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're getting closer to when we met.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Before that, so I'm hearing a lot of stuff about Fort Greene, learning a lot of stuff about Fort Greene and Farragut,
Okay.
and a lot of stuff about the area.
Okay.
So
On what part though?
on the streets part.
Okay. All right. Now
So-
we're going here. Okay.
Did you hear about? I just learned about the Lugo family,
Right.
the Lugo, Richie, and Rob.
Well, I grew up. I grew up with some of the Lugos. You know, Richie is more the younger Richie, not the older.
There was a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear in the hearts and minds of people about that family too.
Hey, they street legends. You know what I mean? If you was in the streets, you know who they are, and you knew not to cross them. You know what I mean? You knew they was about their business, and you knew not to play with them. You know what I mean?
All things crime.
I'm saying they did good. They did good for the community, but like I said, they gotta whatever you into, you gotta guard it, right? So they protect their aspect any means necessary.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I don't give a fuck about that street shit.
I know. That's what I said.
I don't
Street.
give a fuck.
Hold on, you
I
don't?
don't give a fuck about that.
Hey,
Your catchphrase is "the streets is mine."
That's a different streets.
listen,
That's a different. I'm outside. That's different. We having a whole different conversation right now, right?
coming up in Brooklyn,
Right. It was always monsters.
right? That's the part of the culture, man. You know, Brooklyn is tough. So no matter if you from Flatbush, Brownsville, Fort Greene, Farragut, you're gonna see crime.
I mean, let's be honest too. Growing up in Brooklyn, you play ball, you got to pass in the neighborhoods anyway. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
right, you had an option to either go that route or not, right? But they push you to the latter, which is to play sports and stay out of trouble, right?
Right,
So,
right.
that's the beautiful thing about. Well, that's the crazy dynamic about the hood,
Right.
You know what I mean? But so during this time and transitioning and being 14, 15, when do you started to realize like you were one of the top guard? Because when I started playing with you, they said you was one of the top guards already. So
Nah, hell
I was kind of fortunate enough to have you and LeVar Folk,
Boo.
Vu,
Yeah.
as the point guards for my team because you were playing up.
Yes.
So tell me about that transition from 14 up until being a McDonald's All-American.
Shit, 14. Like I said, coming up in Fort Greene, Farragut, I was always forced to play with the older guys.
Okay.
You know, with the Boogers, the Sunshines. So that right there kind of put me a little ahead of like playing with people my age. You know what I mean? So, you know, by the time I got to playing with, you know, when I got up to Riverside and playing with the Harlem guys and the Bronx guys, I'm like, man, this shit is kind of easy.
Really?
I mean, yeah,
It's based over that competition growing up.
right.
Right.
You know, because playing with the older guys, they kind of push you around. You know what I mean? They toughen you up. You know what I mean? So, like I said, when you get to your age, it becomes kind of a little easy now.
Okay.
You know
So-
what I mean? So,
You play in your youth age, middle school. How did Christ the King, the legendary school Christ the King, come into play? How did you decide to go to Christ the King?
Sunshine.
And wow, just Sunshine?
Yeah, so I used to go to his games a lot because he went there first. Him, I don't know.
Kevin Simmons.
Right, Kevin Simmons and another guy named Kevin Carter. Those guys went there before me, and I used to always go watch them. And from there, I fell in love with the school.
So you living in Brooklyn, you got to travel to Queens now.
Yes.
So you took what train? Did you take the train?
Yeah, the F to the M.
The F to the M?
Yeah, or I could have took the bus. You know, Christ the King is like
On the cusp.
it's right on the borderline between Brooklyn and Queens.
Okay.
So I could take the bus there as well.
So going into Christ the King, were you aware of their history other than Sunshine? Because you guys created your own history at Christ the King.
Yes, great question. Yes, the history that I knew about before Sunshine was Khalil Reeves, Derek Phelps. I know.
So you're a little basketball historian.
Oh yeah. Jason Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, my era coming up in basketball, you had to become a student first of the game.
That's true.
You know, to actually get better. because we didn't have trainers and all this one-on-one time
Right.
like all these kids have now. So you had to become a student of the game first. You know what I mean?
Right. So you was prep. So you going in, you was prep. But what about your future teammates? How did you know they were all going to be who they ended up becoming, or how did that position itself?
Yeah. No. I did not know Lamar was going to turn out, Lamar Odom. I did not know he was going to turn out to be 6'8" as a sophomore. As freshmen, he was 6 feet. You know what I mean?
So
Lamar,
what you guys?
uh-huh.
He was the same size as like you and Speedy?
Yes, as we are now. But back then I was a lot shorter. But when we came back for our sophomore year, Lamar looked at like a totally different, a grown ass man. So I don't know, like Lamar, Speedy, I did not know he was going to become a professional basketball player as well. He was always quiet. Just really didn't think he was into basketball like that. You know what I mean? We had a guy named Ira Miller at Christ the King,
shit,
who
right.
was the star.
Was the star with the
Right.
big ass hands. That's right.
Ira was the star at Christ the
I
King
remember
at the
Ira
time. Right. He was the star. He had the bigger name. He was the one that was getting invited to the ABCDs
Right.
and the Nike camps before us. You know what I mean? So we kind of learned from him.
So I want to ask you this. Maybe it's just a non-factor. So traveling from Brooklyn to Queens, right? Me and you talked about this earlier. We thought the trains was wild when. Now we think the trains is wild. Now how was it back then when you was going to high school? Was it
The F to the M? He
Yeah.
was on
Like what?
vacation.
No. The F train.
explain.
Oh no, the F train where I was at was
That train was on fire. Oh yeah, that's your
York
neighborhood.
Street. Yeah, that was considered the stick-up station.
What street was that?
York Street.
York Street.
York
Which
Street.
is now part of Dumbo.
Yes, it's totally different now. You can go there and relax now. You can kick your feet up and relax now. But back in the days, that station was considered a no-go. You know what I mean? That was
Off limits.
So
Yeah.
Todd, when I was coming up, like I wasn't coming to Brooklyn. It was just like Decepticons. You know, we ain't trying to get, you know.
He was a scared straight Harlem big dude.
I'm from Harlem, you know. I went to school in
Scared
Bronx.
straight. I
But
get
we
it.
wasn't coming to Brooklyn like that. It was
I know.
just no way. Like he said, York Street was that's the first stop in Brooklyn from Manhattan, right?
Yes, it is. Right? As soon as you get off, if you driving, you get off the Brooklyn Bridge, my project is right there. You know, we the first project when you enter Brooklyn.
Yeah, we wasn't doing that.
But
we
the-
wasn't going to Brooklyn.
The Decepticons, it kind of started in my project. You know what I mean? Like, I had one of the head guys, we ain't gonna name no names, but I had one of the head guys that was kind of running the Decepticons back then, lived in my building. You know what I mean? Up on the
We used
13th
to hear
floor.
all these stories, Ty. We used to hear all these stories. That's why we never was. You think? Imagine having to come to Grady or. Nah, we wasn't doing.
I was fearless. Now speak for yourself. I was fearless. I didn't give a fuck about no
What you
neighborhood.
do, what you do.
I used to go to his neighborhood and
Like
play
you
in the
said.
tournament.
Right.
Right. Yes.
But you lived in Brooklyn, so
So you never played in housing?
nope. I came the first time I played in Brooklyn. We played at the Wheelchair Classic at LIU, and I came and we drove. I came with my uncle,
In and out.
and we almost didn't get out of there, Ty.
Oh wow.
We almost said, Red messed around, tricked Kenny Anderson. I was talking to E. Bark. His boys knew some boys from Fort Greene. They was like, yo, the dude, halftime, he was like, yo, y'all not gonna make it out of here. And I kept thinking, I said, oh man, my uncle, he ain't gonna make it.
That always been a connection though.
But Dave always pulled the card.
Farragut and left rack. That always been
Farragut with left rack. But we got the card pulled. Dave Edwards saved us because they was like, yo,
Y'all was out of there?
y'all not getting out of here.
Scared to death.
Nah, well, it was like 1,000. It was like 1,000 dudes at the game.
Sounds
It was
about
like
right.
1,000 dudes.
That sound like a Brooklyn.
The
Brooklyn
gangster, all
basketball.
gangsters. Everybody was in there. That it was packed up.
Right.
But we got out of there safe. So
Hey, when I used to go play in Kenny Anderson tournament, right?
and left rack.
Yeah, facts. I used to see all the gangsters that I knew from Brooklyn from my projects out there in left rack.
And by the way, I ended up playing out there too. Ty.
Playing the left way.
They,
You know what I mean?
I played with Kamani out there.
This is when Noriega was dirty.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean?
Right.
And he was running around with one of his friends named Dirty and Stink. You know what I mean? So Dane Irvin, I used to always be around there with Dane Irvin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Shout out Dane Irvin.
you know what I mean? I know old school Wise. You know, he used to if you from Left Rack, you know who Wise is. You know, he was the guy that was
I
always
remember
selling.
Nico. I remember Nico. From
Yeah, but Wise was always the guy that was selling shit in front of the cash, the check cashing place and left right.
Yeah. So you get the couch, Tracy King. You cooking up. You cooking up. Something happened. You cooking up.
Right.
Right. You do your 4 years there. You become one of the best point guards in the city.
Okay.
One of the best. You on the list.
Right.
Top 24, right?
Yes.
You on the list. You one of the best point guards in the city. But
I am the best point guard in New York City.
I got you.
Yeah,
Clarity.
It's the big.
yeah, just clearing shit up.
Who was in your class?
Alan Griffin, Bernard Barrow,
Oh shit.
Deion Jones.
Yep. 3D.
No, you measure, but you measure with different time periods though too.
Right.
Like in my opinion, you in that conversation.
I'm saying I grew up playing against Steph when I was 9 years old. You know what I mean? Steph been a pro since he was 11.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So,
And we always clash for AAU.
you know what I mean? So that was the best teaching I got early.
I mean, he was playing with us.
Speaking of AAU, so it's a big debate, right? It's a big debate about Erick Barkley's 95
I think the debate is only with you, but go ahead.
All right. So Erick Barkley got the 95 team. Who's on that team?
Riverside.
Yeah,
You talking
Riverside.
about. You talking
Riverside,
about-
yeah,
so we gonna go Riverside. team.
Riverside.
Just to clear shit up, Ty. My Riverside team only lost one game.
Query.
So I don't know if he can compete with that with his team.
We go.
But
see.
Elton Brand.
Elton Brand.
We're gonna go to the bench. Javar Cheatham.
Go ahead.
Ricardo Greer.
Okay.
Akeem Thomas.
Okay. I heard you mention him earlier.
Ernest Brown.
Okay.
Big Ernest.
Big Ernest played with them.
Kidwana Reimer with the UMass too.
Yeah.
That was 6'11" guy.
Big one.
Okay. Oh, you didn't talk about him.
I ain't get to him. But that was our bench.
Go ahead.
Starters.
Let's go to the starters.
Elton Brand.
Elton Brand.
First pick, first round.
We know.
Anthony Glover.
Anthony Glover.
Reggie Jesse.
Reggie Jesse.
Ron Artest.
Ron Artest.
Myself. And Lamar Odom.
All right. I mean, that's pretty steep. That's
That's a different kind of team.
So I can't remember, like, he named his whole team. I don't know if I can remember, but I'm going to just say. We had Anthony K, Adrian Autry, Brian Reese, myself. I think we had Ampel, he's 7 foot on that team. Wilfred Cacaldi, he's like 6'9" on that team. Lawrence Pollard. Dow Barnes, 1 year.
You saying all these names that y'all lose by 15.
You think we lose by 15?
Y'all lose by 15.
We beat y'all.
So if you're watching the Storm,
just by
I know we won't get at everybody. Who's the best Riverside AAU team? 89, 88, 89, or 94, 95?
that was 94. Yeah, that was 94.
Yeah.
Because I left. I graduated.
Right. You was going.
So punch that in, bro.
Nah, I don't. I mean, just from the out. So look,
I'm
we
actually-
played against. So he's talking about records. He lost one game. I lost one. My year, I lost one game too.
In 3 years, we lost one
I
game.
lost one game in 2 years. I say that.
So here's the thing, right? They were sophomores. We were rising. They were rising sophomores. We was rising seniors.
Right.
Oh,
right?
that's what he was telling
And
me.
we played. Riverside was so powerful, right? That they played
This
up.
is the story I was telling you. Yeah.
This is how this shit prepped. This is how they became great. They played 2 years up and played us in the championship for the two big tournaments in LA and in Arizona.
So it was two Riverside teams.
Yes, it was us, the rising seniors, and the rising sophomores, which was them.
And instead of
Playing
Mr.
17
of Mr. Lodge putting us with our normal age bracket, he put us
it
up
with
with
us.
them. We was the B team.
Right.
So in their division, right? Our first matchup was Steven Jackson and Mike Bibby was on the same team.
You got good memory. I didn't know none of them.
Wow.
Right. We got them out of there. We bet them in the championship.
We beat them in the championship.
Facts.
Y'all beat them. Y'all got them?
Yes.
Oh, that was the.
And that's only because Mr. Lodge pushed the button. You know
Fuck
what I
what
mean?
he talking about. We beat them. They was young.
Yo, I swear to God, if you put like, I forgot the guy name from Arizona, but he still talked to me on Facebook, and he be sending me like the old articles and shit too.
Oh, that's dope.
So we was beating them.
You were.
We was beating them.
I remember
told
that
you,
game.
Young fellas.
Mr. Lodge pushed the buttons and said, "Yo, this wouldn't look right if the younger team beat them."
Crazy.
And this, so he took all he took all of us out. I was cooking Kevin Morris. You know what I mean? Like, I was cooking Kevin Morris bad. So like, Mr. Lodge pushed the button.
I just know we won.
Yeah.
He's more of a historian than me.
Thurm couldn't coach neither team.
Right.
So
Right,
Thurm
right,
and
right,
Mr.
right.
Lodge, Thurm and Mr. Lodge was in the
bleachers.
just watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had Coach Phil.
Coach Phil.
You know
Shout
what I
out
mean?
Coach Phil.
But you know what the dopest part is though? These guys are 2 years these guys are 2 years younger.
They were
Playing
monsters.
up.
We was ready.
And that's stuff you don't see a lot. No more.
Nah,
Unless-
that's why
unless
they
you
had
see
all
the
them
league.
pros. Which I had about 6 pros from that AAU team, or 5?
Five.
That made the NBA?
5 y'all made the NBA.
First round too.
And on mine,
Thanks.
not 5.
Hey,
That's what I'm saying. You have a debate in your own mind, son. There ain't no fucking
I'm just
debate.
saying at the time.
I'm saying you guys set the tone for us. We just
Nah,
took it to another level.
I can't deny how nice y'all was. But I just think it's a rich debate. It's a debate.
Yo.
We can have it.
Was you? I think you was on that team. I think when Mr. Lodge moved me, Elton, and Ron up to go to Florida State.
Nah, I wasn't on that team.
Nah,
I wasn't on it. Oh, I didn't
you
go on the
didn't go to that trip,
Right, I ain't
Because
go
you
on the
was
trip.
with
just
Willie,
didn't go.
Willie
Yo,
Dirks and them, right?
He just didn't go on
Yes.
the trip.
Right.
Yes.
Said, nah, I'm not going on the trip. You
All
can
right,
stay home.
all right, I'm gonna break this shit
That's a
down.
fact.
Right? If he was there, he would have seen this shit. But when we looked out on the other end of the court, we was playing against Paterson, New Jersey, right?
Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas, right?
Thomas.
They brought Kobe and Vince
Oh, yeah,
Carter
remember
with.
Heard about that.
I said, yo, what the fuck? Well, we still beat them.
Wow.
We still beat them. And Mr. Lord, he he brought 3 of us. He moved Elton, Ron, and me up to go play with them. This guy, like I said, he always had bad bones and shit. You know what I mean? So who knows? He had a broken toe, broken hand, something. Who
Was it
knows?
because he was playing hard, or was it because he was playing hard?
Oh,
No, not that way. Not that way. Back up.
Yo, son, you starting that shit already?
Hey, yo.
No, I mean,
You got hit with the,
no,
hey,
I mean,
yo.
playing hard, like being out the street. Not
Nah,
like,
son.
come on, man.
I just had bad bones, son. Just keep it
That's
like
all,
that,
you
son.
just had bad
I
bones.
always
bro.
got hurt, son. You know what I'm saying? So with those experiences,
And it hurt us in college.
we gonna get there. We get there. So with being top 24 McDonald's All-American,
Right.
having a great AAU high school career,
Yes, sir.
who were some of your choices to go to college, and why did you end up going to St. John's?
Ah, nice. This gonna be funny. Maryland.
But you told me, I remember the story.
The team we knocked out. Maryland came up to my prep school at MCI, Main Central, right?
Uh-huh.
The black coach, Dickinson, I think his name.
Uh-huh.
Him and the head coach, I forgot they Gary.
Gary Williams.
Right. They came up to Main Central to come recruit me. Let me remind you, I was a quiet kid. I never really asked for stuff. They was offering me houses, money,
Right.
if I was to come sign
With Maryland.
with Maryland. So I take a visit, you know what I mean? I take a visit to Maryland. You know what I mean? Steve Francis was on a visit at the time.
Oh, you visited with Steve?
Yes. I was on that visit.
Man, that would have been backcourt.
And I don't know, they just started lying. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we can't, when you get here, it's going to be, oh, y'all wasn't telling me this up in Maine. All right, so, the years go, not the year, the time go by. It's towards the end of the season now. I take a trip to, not the end of the season, sorry. St. John's is having a Midnight Madness now. I never even thought about going to St. John's. My top 5 list of colleges was North Carolina, Michigan, Arizona, Maryland, and I forget the other one. Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii. Hawaii. I just always wanted to go to Hawaii.
Son was running away from Brooklyn. God,
I really wanted to get out of Brooklyn. But going to prep school, I kind of got homesick. You know what I mean? I started missing New York and all my friends and family. So when I took the visit back to St. John's during Midnight Madness, I seen Fran Frischella with all the Jordan gear. And I'm like, oh shit. We was wearing Jordan at Riverside.
Right. I
what I
know.
mean?
I was right with you.
Right.
dope.
So I'm like, man, I love me some Jordan. You know what I mean? So shit, that kind of influence. You know, Fran was a great recruiter as well. You know what I mean? He could sell Brooklyn Bridge to Brooklyn.
Right.
You took an official visit to St. John's?
Yeah,
I remember I
Who's
saw
the host?
Midnight Madness.
Who's the host?
It wasn't me.
Who was my host? I really didn't have a host because I was from New York.
Yeah.
They just let me go. Yeah, Fred let me go. He let me go. But I remember Todd took me to a party. You know what I mean?
Streets is his.
And that's what you know what I mean? That's what
What y'all was doing? So Ty wasn't your host, but he just took you out that night.
I met them at the party. You know?
Okay.
No, my host was Alex Perez. Sorry.
The manager.
Yes, Alex Perez was my manager.
Times.
Then, you know, I saw them at the party, Jamaica Estates, I think it was at.
Hello.
You know what I mean? And
Hello.
then I fell in love with it. From that point on, I became a Johnny, man. I signed right then and there that night.
Wow.
Midnight Matter. And I tried to convince Al Harrington to sign that night too.
Wow.
Which he did.
Yo, what happened to like the host stuff though? But go ahead.
I don't know. Al Harrington signed that night as well. Him and Ernest. They both signed with me that night, but Al went pro. And Ernest ain't get
Al
He
Harrington
wasn't qualified.
signed with St. John's?
Yeah.
right. And Ernest ain't qualified.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was over for all three of them.
Yep.
So they just got rid of all the hosting. They didn't.
You really don't got a host in New York, bro.
I mean, I had Felipe.
Nah, you did it, son. Again, you like ancient history. You didn't really need that. He from New York. He knew where to go.
Right.
The bottom line, he ended up with me.
I got to St. John's. I had Jason Williams and Malik Sealy.
The bottom,
and David King.
But they wasn't lit. The bottom line is that he ended up with me.
They was lit.
Right. They gave me. I had a hotel
He
room.
ended up with me.
But he ended up with you as a host. So he found
This is
the right spot.
This is the most important thing about St.
Right.
John's recruitment back then.
Right.
He ended up with me.
No, they still had the host because when Carlos Bruiser came to visit, I had him. No, I had him as a host.
All right. So
And
they
I
get
took
rid of-
him. And I took him with The Rock, because you know we was with Rockefeller heavy.
That's when that era started, right?
You know what I
there.
mean? So I
Yeah.
took Carlos Bruiser around, Jay and them, Beans and them. We was all at
Baseline?
Chelsea Pierce bowling. That's when they had the bowling.
I thought you was gonna say baseline.
And by the way,
Shawnelle's studio.
when Ebach got to St. John's, that's when it. We don't have to talk about that. But when you got to St. John's, that's when it like the notoriety, everything was at a height. And Felipe had just left, and that's a couple of years. That's when it was height.
Nah, when Erick
Jay-Z started coming to the game.
We owned the city.
we owned the city. When Erick got
lockout.
there, it was different.
Yeah.
It was the NBA had a lockout.
So NBA had a lockout. St. John's.
We was the
popping.
only basketball in New York
Winning.
City, bro. And we ranked.
And we were ranked.
You know what I mean? We like 9th in the country.
Who was the toughest opponent you had when you was in St. John?
Vontigo Cummins.
Oh wow. So you was a freshman, he was a senior.
Yes. And that dude, he was different.
It was different.
He was different. He was definitely different.
Nah, Vontigo was definitely a monster.
Right. I like this game too.
Yeah.
You know, I like to compete. He ain't back down.
Right.
I was like, I like this guy.
Oh, you beat him up early to get a reaction?
Hey, he told me a lesson.
So let me tell you about Ebach, right? So one thing that and I think this kind of like traumatized me when I look at point guards, because I played with like really, really good point guards at the AAU level, right? My introduction to basketball. In high school, I had like Joe Hoover and all of them, who was dope, but AAU, I had Vu Folk and Erick Barkley, right? So when I look at point guards,
And I
look at
learned
two
from Vu too.
Right. When I look at point guards, I look at two things, right? One, their toughness, and two, how they pressure the ball, right?
That good defense.
Playing with Erick Barkley, it didn't matter who was the opposing point guard. I knew we were safe, right?
He told me about the Connecticut story.
Right. No, Erick was a bully on the court. Where you get that from? Because you from Farragut?
Hey man, just growing up small, man. You know what I mean? I think I had the Napoleon complex.
That's why you was always mad?
On court.
On court.
You know what I mean? On court. Pretty much being mad. I just wanted to take the motherfucker out his game.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, basketball is mental too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's missing now though. That just based on what I was talking to you about, like
Who teaching these
y'all
kids?
playing Connecticut, you was like, somebody ain't scoring.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Me and Boosie. You know what I mean? My boy Boosie.
Mm-hmm.
We had a thing one night. We playing Khalid and Morning, I was at the backcourt at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, Boosie, I ain't letting Khalid score on me tonight. I don't know about you. He's like, that's how you playing it? That's how we gonna give it up. The end of that game, I think Khalid had 2 and Morning ain't score. You know what I mean? So,
And of course, a win being
oh
Connecticut.
yeah, I ain't losing
So you
Connecticut.
guys challenge each other.
Yes.
You
ain't-
know, we
I
had
did.
Boosie on the show, and he said some great things about playing with you as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Boosie's on the show.
Oh, wow.
So follow the fucking show,
Basically,
son.
he wasn't worried about it.
You my guys, man. I don't gotta follow this shit.
But you know, he said good things about you.
You got all these St. John's. You come saying
I
that
know you guys, man.
you got all these legends on the team, all these characters, all these legends, right? So tell me a little bit about Mr. Grant over here. Like, how was he as a teammate?
Oh,
You know,
great teammate, man. Solid. Man. Any word I got, solid, bro. A man with a million moves on a post, bro. You're like, you serious? Like, run the floor, could handle, rebound, give it to him in the post, and move. Like I said, yo, if we had him in our Elite 8 run, if he ain't have them fucked up bones, you know what I mean?
I keep hearing that, yo.
If he had them
We want
fucked
a
up,
chip. We don't want a chip.
some calcium. If he had some better calcium in his fucking bones, like we would have beat Ohio State, bro.
I was watching that game.
It wouldn't have came down to me losing it.
That was Elite 8 too, right?
Yes, it wouldn't have came down to me losing it to a fucking 6-year senior, Scooney Penn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Guy who's supposed to fucking been out of school. You know what I mean? So that's here and there.
Right.
No,
But
no.
we had a good run.
Absolutely.
We had-
I'm not taking away from that from Scooney.
Right.
That's my guy. I love him. He's supposed to been out of school, brother.
Right.
You know,
It's ringing, it happens.
Yeah, it's all good.
You had another legend. You had Bootsy Thornton.
Boosie, like I told you, that's my guy, man. Boosie, like, I didn't have to score to be successful, you know what I mean, with St. John's team. Because I had any given night, that's how good our team was. Bro.
Yeah.
Like, any given night, he can give you 30. Boosie could give you 40.
Yeah.
Ron could give you whatever he want to do. I might give you 30 one night.
Right.
You know,
20 assists the next game.
Reggie might step in and give you 20. That's, Albert Richardson, he might catch a ball.
Forgot about it. You said Mike catch a ball?
He might catch a ball that game.
Yeah, I had to throw the ball to his nose. You gonna catch it down or you
Right.
gonna get a broken nose. You know what I mean? That's just how it went.
That's a different kind of team,
Of
man.
course, the great Ron Artest.
Yeah, Ron gonna get
Metal World Peace.
Ron gonna get his, Metal gonna get his regardless. You know what I mean? I remember playing the Duke game.
What you think about hold on, forget the Duke game for a second. What you think about Meta? What you think about Meta becoming the next Knicks head coach?
He put it out there.
He put it out there.
right away.
What you
Hey.
think about that, son?
Yo, New York City. Yeah, do fuck that. New York City, y'all better hear me and hear me clearly. Get out there and make sure Metal World Peace, Ron Artest get that job. New York Knicks.
That's what's up.
All right, shout out to my man. They better give my man a job.
They better get him that job. He deserve it, man. He's a hometown kid.
Yeah.
The Knicks don't never draft us as kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? We always gotta build ourselves up to become a Knick.
And he know how to deal. He know how to deal with the fans and shit. He know how to deal with New York, being in New York.
This is New York.
Right. It's
St.
different
John's.
brand.
This is a St. John's guy, a LaSalle Academy guy,
Uh-huh.
a Riverside Church guy, a Queensbridge native.
We right here too.
You know what I mean? This is New York right here. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Give my man that job.
Give him an opportunity.
Please.
What I love about it is like he just put it out there. He put it in the universe. And I'm sorry, I don't doubt anything that he says he wants to do.
Nah, Ron is a great guy. He knows the game, man.
So
you
we
know what I mean?
endorse you. We endorse you, Meta.
Indeed. He definitely deserved that job.
What you
know
think?
what I mean?
100%. They gonna hire another idiot? Like we've been going through this for like 30 years, B.
40?
They're going 40 years. I don't even know I wasn't even born when the Knicks won.
Put it like this: if the Knicks drafted the guys that comes from New York,
Right.
the Knicks would have been had a ring, bro.
Right.
They take
But the Knicks need to put some New Yorkers in that front office so we could get New York City kid.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
True that.
Unless we go be struggling like we are now, but
Now let me ask you a question: you think Isaiah Thomas fucked it up for everybody? For some people?
Isaiah Thomas fucked it up for everybody in the world. The fuck is you talking about? Isaiah Thomas is the fuck up.
So listen,
Nice guy, but he's the
Legend.
fuck
as
up.
a player,
Yeah.
I really loved Isaiah Thomas.
That's it. That's where it begins
I
and
ain't
ends.
hold you. But
No,
as
a legend.
Knick,
A legend.
as a Knick front office guy, it wasn't good. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Isaiah's a legend on court. But far as
Yeah,
business,
For sure.
far as business,
I'm not talking about his unbelievable career.
Right.
I'm not. He like my top 3 point guard.
I loved it. I
Right?
loved this game.
I'm talking about all the shit Eric just asked me with the Knicks. Fuck out of here,
Oh,
Isaiah
yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, it didn't go good. It didn't go
Let's get Meta World Peace in New York, bro.
Yeah, let's support my brother, man. Let's support my brother, man. But going back to playing with Meta World Peace, playing at St. John's, us losing in the Elite Eight. What was your decisions going into either coming back to school or turning pro? Let me hear a little bit about that story. And this is a free space, so feel free to
Let
tell
it
the
out.
story about
no problem.
transitioning
No problem.
into professional basketball.
Hey, first and foremost, I have no love for the NCAA.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have no love for the NCAA.
Shout out to Mike Jarvis.
Mike Jarvis is a great guy, had my back during the whole situation, but nobody really heard me speak until now about the NCAA, what happened to me.
And that's why you here, baby.
You know what I mean? So I really have no love for the NCAA because what they did to me, you know what I mean? They really forced me out of school. You know what I mean? I really wanted to stay 4 years, develop, a great college, you know what I mean? Degree.
That was your intent. So your
Yes.
intent was to stay in school.
Yes, I kept getting closer and closer to a national chip. So, and that was my main goal, to get to a national championship, even the Final Four. You know what I mean? But and I don't know. The NCAA got word from a street agent who I really don't want to mention this guy from Queensbridge, but you know what I mean? He fucked up a lot of kids' career.
You talking about Rob?
Rob Johnson.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
fat ass Rob.
I name his name.
Got both of us investigated, by the way.
You
Yeah.
too?
Me too. I
That's
got
my
investigated.
guy.
He was my guy too. But I got investigated though. I can tell you that.
That dude put the NCAA on me. You know what I mean? He was the anonymous source because I
You
didn't.
didn't sign with him.
Right. He was taking money from an agent
Right.
that I didn't want to sign with.
Uh-huh.
We was getting $1,300 a month out of from St.
St.
John's legally.
Legally, yeah.
So,
Stipend, yeah.
so we didn't need to take money from agents. You know what I mean? So Rob was taking the money from the agent saying I was getting it. You know what I mean? So when I didn't sign with the agency that he wanted me to, that's when the NCAA came in.
An anonymous tip.
Yes. And then they forced me out of school. Shit just went bad that year. But we still was balling.
Y'all won the Big East.
Yeah, we still won it. We still was balling. You know what I mean? Little shit like that.
So you going, right? You going.
I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm
Ty
going.
was going.
Yeah, yeah.
Ty was going at this time. You know what I mean? But my sophomore year, the NCAA was cracking down on me so hard, like right before the Seton Hall game. We on the layup line, about to start the game. They tell me I couldn't play.
Wow.
All right, but the next day, 2 days later, we playing Duke on national television.
At cameras.
They let me play.
Right.
I already knew what the deal was. Shit gross money for the NCAA. All right, he can play. Games that ain't grossing a lot of money, let him sit out.
Right.
Wow.
So I kind of got the hustle of the NCAA.
You was on like their little yo-yo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another time, the NCAA called me into to their offices in Manhattan. It was a lady. I forgot her name. It was a lady. She interrogated me from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Damn.
I was in them offices all day. I'm like, yo, y'all not worried about me missing class?
No.
Y'all worried about me playing a sport, but y'all not worried about me missing class. So I told the NCAA I'm not coming back to school. Y'all don't gotta worry about my name representing NCAA or y'all making money off my name anymore. So that's when I decided to leave school. I mean, that was my main decision to leave school.
So you at St. John's for 2 years. Seems like a bad job done to you. And then the draft comes up. You put your name in history books for becoming
Right.
first round draft pick to the Portland Trailblazers. So tell me how that felt when you got drafted in the first round by the Trailblazers.
Well, I signed with a guy named Andy Miller, who's
Right. I know.
who's the devil. No, I ain't even gonna sugarcoat it.
Right.
But I signed with a guy named Andy Miller. He was going through with another agent. He was going through something with another Erick Fleischer, I believe.
It was Fleischer. It was
Where
together.
Andy stole most of his clients.
Right.
You know what I
Remember
mean?
that time.
The Garnetts, the Chauncey Billups, the Tyrone Lewis.
Sham Lord.
Right. He stole all those clients from Erick Fleischer. And I'm just coming up learning the business.
Mm-hmm.
So now as I go and I'm learning how Andy ways are. So Andy gets me, I try out for the Knicks. This is why I hate the Knicks. Like, they bring me up to purchase for a whole weekend, and they have the 17th pick in my draft that year. I have a killer workout with them. They tell me, all right, we're going to draft you if you're available at 17. They never take me. So, you know what I mean? I took that as, I was disappointed. That's why now I don't like I hate the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
So Andy, him being my agent, he got me drafted to Portland. Well, my talent got me drafted to Portland, but his say in it was he had a lot of connections in the league due to his clients, the Garnetts, the Chauncey Billups. So he had some leeway, right? So draft night is here. 28th pick is on the clock. I get a call from Portland's GM. Are we gonna take you with the 20? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why y'all taking me? That was my question to the GM. Like, why y'all taking me? I ain't do a workout for y'all. And y'all got like fucking 6 point guards.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is y'all going? Where am I gonna play at? Oh, this is a great opportunity for. I'm happy to be drafted. Thank you.
Where were you during draft? You was in Farragut?
No, I left school to go to Indiana. A guy named good guy, good trainer named Joe Abumaza. He runs. I think the name of his company now in Vegas is Impact.
Ah, okay.
He's the head runner. That's his baby. Also in Florida, where we all worked out at IMG.
Okay.
Nick Voluntary Academy.
Yeah.
This is before IMG, before they became a basketball
Powerhouse.
school.
Yeah.
Right.
They had that campus.
They was always tennis.
Yeah.
You know, it was majority tennis there. But when we came there, we was just doing workouts there, the trainer. That's when they started into basketball. You know what I mean? IMG.
So you get drafted to Portland. We have something in common because we play. When you get to Portland, it's a bunch of notable high-level players there. Some Hall of Famers,
It's a shit show.
to say the least.
Portland was a shit show.
We had a lot of the same teams, but yeah, before that, like, so how was that playing with? You could name some of the players.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. How Rick James said that shit. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Sean Kemp. We had Bonzi Wells. Did Rasheed Wallace play that?
Yes,
shit?
Rasheed
Wallace.
That's my guy right
Steve
there.
Kerr,
Oh,
one of my
yeah.
favorites.
Steve Kerr is a
the
fucking
great Ross Strickland you had on that team.
man. Listen, like I said,
What was that like?
Ron was on that team?
yes, we call Raw Willie Beeman. Well, I called him Willie Beeman because before every game, that motherfucker threw up. Yes, that nigga threw up before every game.
That was his thing.
Yes, that's why I called him Willie Beeman. If you remember the movie,
I know exactly what
That's
you're
how
talking
that's
about.
how Willie Beeman did. That's why I called him Willie Beeman. And Steve Smith,
Oh, Steve Smith was on that team.
yes, he used to call us New York City 1, New York City 2, like the movie Life. So, like I said, it was so many legends and like,
Damon Stoudemire.
yes, Damon
my
Stoudemire, Greg Anthony.
Why did they draft him?
That's what I said, bro. Pippen played the
How was
point.
Scotty? How was Scotty on that team?
Scotty was cool. Scotty was cool, but you could tell when he was ego tripping, you know what I mean? But he was definitely cool. He was definitely down.
I had Ruben
Patterson. Yeah, he came my second year when Zebo came.
Okay.
Right? Oh man. Oh man, shit. I saw one time Rasheed was talking about the fight that Zebo and Ruben had, right? She wasn't even in there. I was the only one in there in the locker room when
Right.
the shit happened.
Right.
So she don't really know what really fucking happened. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna tell y'all what happened.
Shit.
Yo, we was practice was over. You know, everybody take showers and shit after practice. Zebo was still in the shower. I'm done with mine. We just had got some book bags with the wheels and shit on it. At that time, that was just coming out. So Zebo was the rookie. Ruben Patterson was like, yo, E, who bag is this? Zebo locker was next to mine. I'm like, you see who I was like, you see who bag that shit is? Like, don't ask me those stupid questions. So he was like, all right, the rookie don't need his. I'm gonna take his and give them to my kids. So I'm like, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
So Zebo get out the shower. First person, he come to me. He like, yo, E, where my bag at? I'm like, shit, nigga, I don't got that shit. I was like, just look around, motherfucker, you'll see. He get the Ruben. Everybody know Ruben is aggressive. Them Cincinnati heads
Right.
just...
Right. They
ain't working with a full deck. Anybody that went to Cincinnati, no,
It's crazy. I almost went there, but yeah.
no, y'all crazy. But him and Ruben Patterson start arguing face to face. I don't know. Ruben just picked Zebo up and slammed him on his tailbone. Boom. You know how you get when you get that tailbone and you walk around like you got a pipe in your ass.
Right.
No homo.
Right.
So Mo Cheeks is the coach at the time. Mo Cheeks come in there and say, Zebo, you starting. After he got a bruised tailbone.
He ain't know they had a fight.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. He come in there and tell Zebo, you starting tonight. Zebo like, I can't, my fucking... But that's how the story went.
Okay.
And then Zebo came. Zebo, listen. Zebo came. It's a retaliation coming.
It was coming.
You know what I mean? It's coming.
The retaliation came after the game?
About 2 weeks later when he healed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When the tailbone healed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So Ruben coming out of the shower again. That eye had a baby on it. You know what I mean? Zebo get that boy an eye with a baby on it, bro. Y'all probably could pull up old footage and see Ruben eye fucked up back then when he was Portland. And y'all know where it came from.
From that.
From
the
Zebo.
tiny race.
Exactly. It came from Zebo.
Wow.
How did y'all do that second year? What was I think I probably was with the Spurs or
Yeah, you was with the Spurs.
Yeah, I think it was with the Spurs or Denver or one of them teams. But how did y'all do? How did y'all
We
end up
lost to the Lakers again. This time in the second round, Robert Ory hit a shot on us in the
You was on that team.
Yes.
Damn, son, you was on some dope teams with some wild dudes. I mean, you just told us a wild story.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yo, how did Steve Kerr manage to fit that team?
Especially dealing with the we got named the Jailblazers.
The
When
Jailblazers,
when I got there. You know what I mean?
Right, that was-
So
yeah.
cocaine is a hell of a drug. You know what I mean?
No disrespect to nobody, but
Right.
I ain't saying nobody's names, but I'm just saying that cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Right.
Rick James.
So
You know what I mean?
outside of that fight with Ruben and Zebo, you have any other story that you would like to share about that experience with this amazing group of gentlemen
Oh
during
man.
the 2 years?
Oh man. Oh, Greg Anthony. Oh man. Whew. Oh yeah. Greg. Weed is legal now, so we could talk
right,
about
yes.
weed.
Yes. Right.
Right. But back then it was
It's a medical
Right.
drug.
Cole Anthony was just born, right? So Greg and his wife, they was bringing him back from the hospital. I'm the rookie, so I got to do all the rookie hazing and shit. So Greg calls me. Hey, yo, Rook, I need some weed.
Right after the baby born.
Right. I need you to go such and such, go pick this up for me. All right, no problem. So I go get it. I get a call from Bonzi. Bonzi was like, yo, I need you to come by my house. All right, no problem. I just did something for Greg. Just come bring it, whatever you got for Greg, bring it over here. No problem. So I get the Bonzi house with the good shit I got for Greg. Bonzi say, yo, let me see that. So I give it to Bonzi. He like, yo, here, give Greg this. some lower shit. Some lower grade shit. So I'm like, I bet. So he take the shit I just got for Greg and he give me the same amount.
Right. Switch it off.
Right. He give him the lower grade shit. He say, here, take this on. He ain't gonna know. So I get the Greg house, right? I give him the shit. Next day in practice, me and Bonzi asked, yo, Greg, how was that shit? I'm still, it's a motherfucker. Me and Bonzi crying like a motherfucker. Like, motherfucker, that shit wasn't even no fucking chronic.
Right. He front.
Right. It was some low grade.
Oh, man.
But everybody in Portland smoked, bro. Smoked weed, bro.
The whole team.
The whole team. And that's
coaches?
my first year, Mike Dudley V. Prick. But he used to be in practice with wine with a straw.
But Todd, first of all, they had the best weed in the country at that time.
Yeah.
Portland, Oregon.
Oregon was
But
different.
that's how Popovich was too in practices too.
With a wine glass?
A wine bottle with a straw, spitting in your face. I'm like, yo, bro, like you spitting on me. I understand you under the influence, but you spitting on me talking to me, man. Hey, it's holy water. Can't say some shit like that. It's holy water.
That's one thing you and Nell got in common. Y'all both played for Popovich too.
Oh, Popovich a good dude, right?
Great dude.
Yeah,
To
good
me,
dude. I don't got no complaints. Now, R.C.
had a great
Bruford is an asshole.
You know, I didn't know RC that good, but the whole experience was great, man. You know.
Hey, man. You know what I mean? Me and Speedy was there we was there at the same time. You know, my high school teammate.
Yeah.
So you and Speedy experienced San Antonio together.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yep, until they got rid of my ass. You know, for I don't know what. I guess I was going too hard on Tony Parker in practice. You know what I mean? Because I was like, fuck this kid. You know?
Right.
I want this spot.
Right.
And he was already Pop favorite. So Mario Ellie was one of the coaches at the time, and he used to try to warn me, like, take it easy. Like, fuck that. I want this spot.
Oh, Mary used to give you a heads up.
Yeah, but I couldn't understand at the time.
Right.
I wanted that spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just went too hard. I guess I went too hard on it. You know what I mean? San Antonio got me up out of there.
So overall, like the experience was positive. Like reflecting back on the NBA and
I had
you achieved your dreams. And,
Right. I had no bad thought. Like I had no bad memories of the NBA. Like I said, it's every kid's dream to make it there once you pick up a ball and decide this is what you want to do. But you know what I mean? Before kids leave school early, learn the business.
Learn the
You
business.
know what I mean? That's the only advice I can give you. You know what I mean? Picking an agent, learn the business first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That can dictate your career.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could.
Right. So now NBA. I know you're trying to get back in the NBA, but in the meantime, you take your,
Take
your
my
talents
talents overseas
abroad.
with you.
Now you know I play with E.
I already know he did that.
You know I play with E.
And
I
Greece.
oh, I saw the
Listen,
picture.
bro. Listen, like this guy.
And you know I play with E.
Yo, he knows me, bro, and he knows like where I come from, and my
psychic.
mentality is like kind of off sometimes, right? Because we in Greece, right? We balling, you know. The coach is like really, he's aggressive.
Right. He like you.
Did they give you that bread on time?
Yeah, it wasn't no
No,
problem. with
that
the
wasn't
bread.
the issue, sir.
Right. It wasn't no problem with the bread. But the coach was an aggressive coach. And I'm like, oh man, me and this nigga gonna clash. You know what I mean? One point in time before, like when I got there, I was like, we gonna clash. So one day is my turn. I think Ty was in the training room.
As usual.
And I'm on court doing the work. And he got aggressive with me.
Smacked him.
He put his hands on me. I smacked the shit out of this coach.
Wow.
And I said, I'm leaving. I said, get me the fuck out of
So
Greece.
let me add it to the conversation, right? So after E smacks the coach,
Wow.
right? Probably like out of the 12 players on the team, 7 of them came into the training room like, Tyrone, your friend beat up the coach. He beat up the coach. So I'm getting treatment, you know what I'm saying? I think I was taking a nap, and I'm like, word? But I ain't really taking it too serious, right? So I leave the treatment room, I go in the locker room, E ain't there. You know, E, again, I played with him in college, so I already know E gonna take his time to get dressed. He's gonna be chilling in the locker room for a minute, probably play some music. So I come in like, damn, E not here. I said, all right, I gotta go to his crib. Now here's the catch. He smacked the shit out of the coach, right? This how good E was. Before I could get from practice to my house to E house, the coach already got in contact with me. Was like, tell him don't leave.
Oh, yeah,
I still want him on the team. Tell Erick don't leave. Grant, please make him stay. But after he told me I go to E crib, E already packed. He already
I
packed.
said, I'm out.
Wow.
He was already out of there. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, like, nah, son, da, 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 da. And E left. I was like, damn, my man is gone, son. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
You left like the same night in the morning, right?
Yeah, yo.
Yeah, he was going with his fam
The
and shit.
owner was trying to get me to stay too.
That's the and all my years playing in Europe, that's the only person I know put his hands on authority, and they still wanted him on the same team. I never forget, he was begging me. That's my man to this day. He asked me about E to this day on Facebook messages. Hey, how is Erick? Erick, he slapped the shit out of me, right, Grant? Wild coach. Word, he a legend. He famous in Greece.
That coach was good though. He's a good coach, but you just picked the wrong battle.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
We overseas. I'm frustrated.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just we overseas, bro.
That's
you know what I mean?
But we can't let you go without asking you about this year's college basketball season, St. John's.
Love it.
I mean, it was a time, E-Bark. It was a time, like, you know, me and this guy hanging out. But what's your outlook, your thought process? Oh no, not your thought process, but what's your thoughts on this team this year, the St. John's team, and the success they had throughout the year?
Man, like I was attending most of the games. This
He
year.
was there. He was
So, you know what I mean? I like what I saw, man. You know, Rick Pitino had those guys playing at a high level. You know what I mean? They wasn't backing down to nobody. You know what I mean? It's just they just couldn't make shots, bro.
Couldn't make shots.
You know what I mean? The effort was
Timely
there.
shots, too.
Right.
Timely
The effort was there. You know what I mean? They play hard. You know what I mean? Well, again, it just came down to making shots, and they couldn't make shots.
Did you enjoy the ride like we did? Pause.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Pause on that to second you, but you know what I mean.
I cleared it up. I cleared it up. I cleared it up.
I was like, I don't even want to talk no more.
Yeah, but you come from the era
Right.
to
You
where
just say it.
right it wasn't no problem saying what you said back then. We come from a way where you had to say no homo. You know,
Like, when I was saying it, I was like, oh man.
you know what I mean? It's just the errors. That's all.
But it was a magical ride, man. I mean, we all had seen each other at games. I think I
Right.
might have seen you at a couple of practice or two.
Right. You know,
at
you
the
saw me
game.
over the summer. I was
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
classes. You know what I mean? I was
Exactly.
taking classes over the summer.
And that's dope too that you
Right.
taking classes.
Right.
But no, it was something about, it was a magic in the air. Like I really appreciated about
Right.
this team. You know,
Right.
I know they was missing shots, untimely turnovers at the end. You know, we lost in the second
Hey
round.
man, you got to tip your hat off to Rick Pitino, man. He's a winner.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? He's a New Yorker and he's a born winner. And that's just gonna rub off on the players.
What's your expectations for next year?
Now that RJ is leaving,
He left.
yeah, right. I really want to see that kid. You know what I mean? Because I had some high expectations for him this year. But get your money, man. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at him for leaving. Now, if he would have transferred school, because I saw he put his name in the transfer portal.
Yep.
Down, that I would have had a problem with. But if you're gonna go to the NBA, let him, you know, flourish to the best of your ability. Get your money, take care of your family. You know what I mean? You're always gonna be a Johnny in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
you took down our record. You know what I mean? Like, how long we had the Big East chip for? What?
25 years.
Yeah, that was 25.
25 joints. Woo.
Yeah,
And they got it now. Like they brought excitement back to the city.
that's a fact.
That's the best part.
Right from when we had it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because after I left St. John's and I was going to the games with the Norm Roberts and some of the other coaches, the slick hair guy,
From
UCLA.
From UCLA.
Lavin.
I was going to the games with them, and it just
It's like
wasn't
it wasn't
the right feel.
We was like it's like going to work.
Right.
We was going to work watching St. John. That
Right.
shit was a headache.
You gotta have New Yorkers represent St. John's
That's a fact.
because that's gonna bring the New York style of basketball.
Since I left school, I have not felt that type of acceptance from probably any coaching staff
Right.
that's been at St. John's until
Right.
like since Rick Pitino got here.
Nah, you're right. Yeah,
We gotta go. Like, you know,
Right.
we Ty, twin, we heading up to Providence.
nah, it just
was a
seems
different feel.
Right. It just seems like like when I left St. John's, all the coaches they had after Jarvis just seemed like they wasn't interested in the alumni before. Now that Rick Pitino here, it's like kind of a different feeling. You know what I mean? They give it back to the alumni now.
I think a lot of that comes from our celebration last year with our team.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Big facts.
As
Big
much
facts.
money as they raised for that shit.
Hey, big facts.
You
Hey,
know what I'm saying?
hey, we never behind the getting money part.
Right.
We just on
Right.
how to get the money.
How to get the money.
You
That's
know
a
what I mean?
fact.
So sometimes I just feel like a horse. You know what I mean?
It be like that sometimes, right?
Give
But
me-
we live and learn.
Pay me my bread.
Go ahead.
So with the anticipation for St. John's this year and everything that's happened in the season, I mean last season going into this season,
Right.
what are your expectations with the NIL All-Star team that we got?
I expect nothing less than another Big East champion and a further not to get eliminated in the second round. This
Right.
time. You know what I mean?
A longer run.
Yes, my expectations is Final Four or better. You know what I mean?
Love that.
That's big time.
That's big time. They rank like what, number 1 or 3 now?
Hey man, hey put me on that coaching staff, man. I'm a good luck charm, man. I try to tell him.
Hey, yo, Matt, he's available. Put him on the staff.
Hey, put me on.
Now
Hey,
y'all profit sharing too. Y'all can create any kind of positions on St. John's staff, baby.
Hey,
y'all
hey.
profit sharing. Y'all let me know too
hey,
much.
hey, Providence did that for Shamgar, right?
Yeah.
They let
Yeah.
him go back to school in St. John's. What's up, baby? I'm
Yeah.
here, man. I need
Saying it.
Mr. Barkley's available.
And by the way, this is our summer format. So this is the way, you know, we just meet with our friends, even our friends, our legends.
I
now.
love it. I love it.
We're gonna change it up when we get to the fall. It's gonna be popping during the fall. We all excited.
Did y'all have Smooth guy on here yet? Walter Berry.
No. What? We're looking
Hey,
forward-
that guy is so smooth. Man. That guy.
we looking forward
I'm on the
to
record, Walt. You confirm. We talk.
Yo,
So,
I just did
you already know.
I did an event with Walt, the Big East, a Big East of it, like when the Big East tournament was going on.
Legends, Big East legends.
Man, that dude, he just remind me. Y'all know how Spike Lee movies are, like when the people walk and it just look like
yeah.
they glide.
Yeah.
That's Walter Berry, bro.
yo,
That's Walter Berry.
yo. Were you at Connor Second's funeral?
No, nah, I don't like funerals.
I got you.
Yeah, I can't do.
It was a lot of us there, right? We were
Right.
there, and then Walt came in, like 20 minutes after,
Right.
gliding with
Yeah.
the fur coat.
Yep.
And then he comes in and he sit right next to us, me, David Cade. I was like, oh, everybody looking at us, but that's how he is.
That's Walt.
He's a legend,
Yeah,
man.
Walt is definitely a
So, Walt,
legend.
we'll
man.
see you soon,
We'll see you.
Walt is that guy, man.
no doubt.
Anything you want some of the fans to know about yourself before we wrap this up, E? We could do this all day.
No, just hey, look out for my my events coming up. Barking Out Loud. About to drop a book soon.
Nice.
Called Snapshot. You know what I
I'm in
mean?
the book.
Yes, you.
Just
yes,
making sure. I
Yes,
just wanna know.
yes, you are, because it's more me talking about myself. You know what I mean? And nobody else.
Right. Your story.
Yes, indeed. Because
love it.
I was left out of the documentary, New York City Point
Oh,
Guards.
God. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know what I mean? So
That's ridiculous.
Now, that was crazy.
I got they just set me up to do my own thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? They left out a lot of people.
They left out
Know
a
what I
lot
mean?
of people.
Jamal Tinsley,
Yeah.
a lot of Brooklyn guys they left out. So, like I said, thank you for not putting me in it. You know what I mean? So I get to do my own now.
Right,
Thank
right.
you, Kevin Durant, because I think he was part of
He
that.
just funded it.
Do your research,
Right.
before you fund it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, on that being said, you know what I mean? I love training kids here in New York. You know what I mean? With Ty Grant help. We do it free, bruh. We do it free.
Fuck that. I don't do nothing free. I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Listen,
I
it's
don't give a
free.
fuck about none of that.
It's free. It's free. So call, get in contact with Ty or myself, and I will come and train you.
Bark, man. It's been truly an honor to have you, man.
Hey,
One of
I'm
the
happy
best
to
point
hear with my
guards
brothers,
in
man.
New York City history, St. John's legend, NBA player.
I'm,
now going
McDonald's All-American.
McDonald's All-American.
I got a gold medal
Gold
So,
medal.
college, yeah, he leaving shit out, but I could do it myself.
Nah,
I'm playing with it. I'm playing with
I
it.
didn't know you had a gold medal though.
Yeah, the World Game, College World Games.
Word?
That's what
That's what it's about.
Scooney, me and Scooney became
That
cool.
was in Spain?
Yes.
I remember that. I'm
Yep.
bugging. Shame
Yep.
on me.
Yep. Yeah, I got
Thank
the
you
World
for coming to
Games.
this thing of ours. You know, the Storm
Indeed.
NYC. My co-host, partner in crime, Ty Grant. My man,
get on my
executive
nerves.
producer, Ruben Rivera. Our production staff, Javon, Patch.
Sweet chicks.
Sweet chick. Shout out to
Audience,
Twin.
Beautiful audience. Shout out to
Beautiful
Twin.
ladies.
My man, Ant Duran came.
I don't want to say y'all names. Y'all might get in trouble.
Shout out to
Little
the
Kai, that's my guy right there.
Indeed.
Peace. Thank you for watching. Got more to come.
Red Storm love.
E. Barkley, the great E. Barkley.
Red Storm love, baby.